Dum 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 be do yeah yeah yeah. Ooh, only the lonely, only the lonely, only the lonely know the way I feel tonight. Only the lonely know this feeling ain't right. There goes my baby, there goes my heart, they're gone forever, so far apart, but only the lonely know why I cry. Only the lonely don't do yeah 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 yeah. Ooh, only the lonely, only the lonely. Another Roy Orbison song, of course. Only the Lonely has got to be in there too. As you could have seen earlier, I played it through a few different keys, which all match the absolute key actually of the recording, which would be F. And he does play it in F. So then you end up with an F and a G minor and a B flat and a C dominant 7, and what else is in there? A G7, yes. Well, I do show you actually those chords in the lesson, but I mainly go into the other keys. They are probably a little bit more guitar friendly. So you could go for the key of E, as I already showed you. Just capo it here on the first fret and you got it. Move it up a whole step and move down the key a whole step down, and then you can play it in the key of D. Or if you want to, you could also play it, of course, in the key of G. It would be higher though, because it's a whole step higher than F. So for that, I always have one guitar tuned down a whole step, so, you know, then it works too, of course. So you got it, you can pick and choose. So I break it actually down, the progression. I do show you all the chords and whatever you need to know, but the progression down as in using the Nashville numbering system. Actually what I just talked about, you know, chord 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is a diminished chord, you have 3 major chords, 3 minor chords, you know, and numbering them instead of calling them out by name. Of course, in every key you do need to know which chord has what number and so on. So in the key of E, you would have like the 3 major chords are 1, 4, and 5. I hope you know that, and otherwise I will tell you. I will tell you now. It would be E, A, and B7. Chord 5 very often and definitely in this song has like a dominant 7 in there. And then there is chord 2, which would be F sharp minor, and then there are a couple of secondary dominant chords. I'll get to that in the lesson indeed. In the key of D, you would end up with a D, a G, and an A, and chord 2, yes, that would be above E minor. And that's what I mean. If you know your chords in the key very well and you only have to think about which number you're going to, then you can shift fast, and that's why they actually invented it in the first place. It would be easier for all musicians in the studio to just adjust the key and know we're going to this number and to that number and so on. In the key of G, it would be G, C, and D, and A minor, like so. So I do break all of that down. The progression has a couple of twists and turns, indeed using secondary dominant chords, but also like here and there a 2-4 measure in there and then back to 4-4. Then there are quarter note triplets in the chorus. There goes my baby. Like so. If you hear it, you kind of like, what's the big deal? Well, there isn't. But those are quarter note triplets. If you can pick it up by ear, then that would be great, and then you can, you know, play the choruses like that. Okay, so yes, another thing that I like to teach is this little bounce there, which I think is often in some of his songs. Well, whatever. So it would mean like a bounce on beat one actually. So one and the two and three and four and one and the two and three and four and one and the two. So throwing in 2/16 notes in there between all those 8 notes basically. Actually, when you watch him play it and others, some would move their hands like this, and others would double it. Actually, he sometimes does the same thing there. So you can also, if I would play it by myself, I would probably go for what I just did like that. Otherwise, it gets so but. In a case with a band, there are others to keep that feel in there, I suppose. But I break down the bounce for sure, and of course the strumming. If you want to leave it out, that's fine too. And then we talk a little bit about those secondary dominant chords. They are not hard to play, that's not it. But there is a reason why they are what they are and how it works as it works. So in the case of chord 5, for example, if you play in key V, that would be B7. It works really well because it pulls you back to chord 1. And actually the same thing happens for secondary dominant chords, but they are pulling you to another chord in the key. I talk about that in the lesson. So yes, we always use lessons in order to learn something, not just for the song, not just for the song. Even though, of course, if you want to, that's totally fine. But I really hope you can get the bounce down. You can get the chords in the key down, at least the ones that are in here, and you can number them and so on. And that you get a little bit of a grip on how it works with dominant 7 chords. Okay, now you can check all of that out in the lesson at totalguitars.com.